They told us the Knights Templar were destroyed, that their wealth was seized, their power broken, their order erased from history. But when the fires died down, no gold, no relics, no answers. And that is where the real story begins. In October of 1307, Paris slept under a cold, uneasy sky. Before dawn, royal soldiers flooded the streets with torches and steel, carrying sealed orders from King Philip IV. Every Knight Templar in France was to be arrested at the same moment. It was precise, brutal, final. But when the king's men stormed the Templar headquarters and smashed open the vaults, they found only silence. The treasure everyone expected was gone, not hidden, not misplaced. Gone. For years, the Templars had been whispered about as the richest organization in Christendom. They owned land across Europe, castles in the Holy Land, fleets of ships, and a banking system so advanced that even kings depended on it. Philip himself was deeply in debt to them. Their downfall was supposed to be his salvation. Instead, the coffers were empty. This was no accident. The Knights Templar were disciplined, secretive, and intelligent. If their wealth vanished, it vanished by design. Witnesses in La Rochelle, the Templars' most important port on the Atlantic, reported something strange. In the days just before the arrests, ships were seen leaving the harbor at night. Not one or two vessels, but a fleet, sails full, course set westward into the dark. When royal forces finally reached the port, the docks were nearly empty. So, the question remains, where did the fleet go? Some believe the ships sailed north to Scotland. At the time, Scotland was ruled by Robert the Bruce, a king excommunicated by the church and already at war with England. He had nothing to lose by sheltering the Templars. Legends claim that heavily armed knights appeared suddenly at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, charging the English lines and turning the tide of history. Official records never name them, but eyewitness descriptions speak of disciplined cavalry appearing as if from nowhere. Along Scotland's rugged coastline, carvings, chapels, and symbols linked to the Templars still remain. Some believe the knights blended into local clans, abandoning their white mantles but preserving their knowledge and traditions. Others believe the fleet sailed south, to Portugal. There, King Denis refused to destroy the order. Instead, he transformed it into the Order of Christ. The transition was seamless. The castles remained. The rituals survived. The Red Cross still flew, now painted on sails instead of shields. Prince Henry the Navigator, the man who launched Portugal into the Age of Discovery, was Grand Master of the Order of Christ. Under his command, ships explored Africa, crossed vast oceans, and reached lands no one else dared to sail toward. Was it ambition, or did Portugal begin with maps and knowledge carried by the missing fleet? Then there is Switzerland, a land of mountains, neutrality, and secrecy. Some theorists believe the Templars moved their greatest asset inland, not gold, but systems, banking methods, coded records, trust networks. Swiss banking appears in history with uncanny sophistication, almost as if it was inherited. And then there is the most unsettling theory of all, that the treasure was never gold. The Templars may have carried something far more dangerous knowledge, texts gathered beneath the Temple Mount, maps older than Europe, admitted, ideas that challenged both crown and church, knowledge powerful enough to make kings afraid. Perhaps that is why documents were burned as soldiers closed in, not to destroy evidence, but to delay capture while the real archive escaped. Some believe that knowledge crossed oceans. Legends point to Oak Island in Nova Scotia, an island filled with tunnels, traps, coconut fibers not native to the region, and symbols eerily similar to Templar markings. No pirate horde explains that level of engineering. Others point to Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland. Built decades before Columbus, it contains carvings of maize and aloe plants from the Americas. How did medieval masons know what those looked like? And then there is the Grail, not as a cup, but as blood. Some believe the Templars protected a lineage tied to Jesus and Mary Magdalene. If true, the fleet was not carrying treasure at all, but people, living heirs, hidden across generations, protected by secrecy rather than walls. That would explain everything. The urgency, the silence, the disappearance without a trace. Even the Vatican never claimed the treasure. No public inventory, no celebration, only quiet archives sealed away from scholars. Silence can be louder than denial. Over time, the Templars may not have vanished, only transformed. Their symbols appear later in secret societies. Freemasons, Rosicrucians, brotherhoods, obsessed with geometry, secrecy, and moral guardianship. And on the seas, another symbol rises, the skull and crossbones. What if the pirate flag was not born from chaos, but from a disciplined order forced into exile? A final transformation, from knights to shadows. So ask yourself this: if the Templars truly failed, why does their story refuse to end? Why does their influence echo through banking, exploration, symbols, and secret orders? Maybe the greatest treasure was never gold. Maybe it was survival. And if that's true, then the Knights Templar didn't disappear. They simply went underground. And the real question isn't where they went. It's whether they ever truly left.